Okay. DNS records. So in your DNS server, we have a different type of records are there. We'll see the name of the records. SOA record. SOA record means start of authority. Okay, start of authority. What is the start of authority? NS record. NS record, name server record. Name server record. So name server record means in case I have a multiple DNS servers in my network, if I have a multiple DNS servers, then that records. Okay, if I have a multiple DNS servers are there, for example DNS server 1, DNS server 2, okay, so DNS server 3, like if I have a multiple DNS servers are there, so there is called as a NS records. Okay, NS records. I will show you that how it is look like. Next one is host A record. So host AAA record. So what is this host record? It's nothing but a host record only. Okay, host record. It means a PC record with IPv4 address. This is also a host record. IPv6 record. Host record is IPv6 record. SOA record, NS record, host record, and host record. CNAME record. CNAME is Alias record. Alias, not Alias, Alias record. CNAME. Where is CNAME? Alias record. Okay. What is this? Alias record is a duplicate name. Duplicate name. I will explain now. MX. MX record is a mail exchange record. SVR. Service location record. Service location record. PTR. Pointer record. These are the main records. Look at SOA, NS, host A, host 4S, CNAME, MX, SRV, and SRV, PTR records. You can look at matches. Am I missing anything? Nothing. Okay. So SOA, NS is the most common records are there. We'll see that one. Guys, look at in our DNS server first of all. Okay. Our server itself a DNS server. So first of all, I have to go to my server manager to open a DNS server. Go to tools. You can find DNS. Go to tools, open DNS. Minimize your server manager or close server managers once DNS server is open. Okay, maximize, and you can see a forward lookup zone and reverse lookup zone. If I put a magnifier, then also my server becomes slow.
No need, sir. We can able to see.
Okay, then. So forward lookup zone and reverse lookup zone. If you expand forward lookup zone, you can see your domain name. Okay, you can see SOA NSA records here. Okay. Okay. So if you look at here, this is my DNS server. DNS. This is my server name. Forward lookup zone and reverse lookup zone. Two lookup zones are there. One is forward lookup zone, another one is reverse lookup zone. In the forward lookup zone, my domain name is domain1.com and there is a records. This is a SOA record, start of authority record. It is having some number. If you see this number, the number represent how many records are changed, added, deleted, changed. So it will always like a increment. Okay. If any modification occurs in the DNS records, it always increments. Okay. It is always increments. Okay. Next, it's a primary DNS server. Where is the primary DNS server? So it is showing like this. It is a primary DNS server record. Responsible person, who is a responsible, refresh interval, that is there. Also go to general tab. Status is running, Active Directory integrated, replication all DNS servers in this domain, data is stored in Active Directory, dynamic updates are securely updates, and also it is showing aging and scavenging kind of stuff. So what is this? The status showing my DNS server is running. Good. This is, you can see, are you a primary zone? And are you store your zone data in the Active Directory, or you want to store the zone data in a separate location? If I remove it, see, this is a zone data stores in different locations. See, this type is changed. I didn't click on apply. It's okay, no problem. Again, I'm going to change it. I select this option, click OK. Meaning is Active Directory integrated means DNS database stores in Active Directory database only. Okay, that is the option. So again, we'll come back to that one. So start of authority is a number which represents how many changes occurs in your DNS server, in DNS records, in the current in this location. Name server, who is your DNS server. Okay, what are the DNS servers are there, who is yours. This is a DNS server IP address. This is my client IP address. This is my server IP address. The client IP address may be same or different, so that is okay. So this is, if you say static means a constant records. If you say dynamic like a date and timestamp is there, it is a dynamic records. Okay. So first of all, I'm going to forward lookup zone, and then I will show you the records and how to create a records also. We'll see. Okay, guys, it is forward lookup zone. There's a two zones are there, forward lookup zones and reverse lookup zone. Yeah, tell me. Forward lookup zone and reverse. Zones. Okay, so in a forward lookup zone, for example, I have a domain name. Domain name is contoso.com. Just I'm giving another example why we take a domain1.com again here. So I have a domain name contoso.com under forward lookup zone. Okay. under forward lookup zone. So obviously you have a domain name, means when you click on there, records will be shows, right? So first of all, it shows SOA, start of authority. Currently my start of authority is, for example, 10. So existing records are there. It is because of that one, 10 is mine. NS record, who is my NS record? My win S1 dot domain 1 dot, okay, like that it will shows FQDN. Okay, NS records it will shows. Next PC1 is my host name, means one of my computer PC1. The name is look like host A record. So you can see from my DNS server, like here it is host A. So first one is name, type, and the IP address data. Okay, so what is happening? Okay, look at here, and IP address. Okay, IP address. So for example, 192.168.0. Something 11. That is my IP address. One record is added. Okay, so what is this forward lookup zone? What is the forward lookup zone? Name to IP address. Very simply say, what is a forward lookup zone? What is DNS? Name to IP address mapping. Same thing. Forward lookup zone maps name to IP address. There is a forward lookup zone maps name to IP address. Can you see name? And this is the IP address. This is the host. Next. Here it is. If you open this record, the FQDN, fully qualified domain name, is PC1.contoso.com. That is called a FQDN. So your PC1 is under contoso.com. So PC1.contoso.com. Okay. So next PC2. Host A record. Just for an example, another example, 192.168.0.12. Can anybody tell what is the FQDN of PC1? FQDN. PC1, sorry, PC2 is a host. So PC2 host, FQDN, fully qualified domain name. Is a fully qualified domain name. It is a combination of host name and domain name, full domain name, not a just a pronounce a full domain name. Full domain name. Like my host name means my computer name is PC1. My domain name is domain1.com. Guys, now tell me what is my FQDN?
Control.txt.
This is FQDN. Next, when we are in a DNS, compulsory, you must know what is FQDN also. Okay, next. Another one also, we should tell what is a NetBIOS. What is a NetBIOS? What is NetBIOS? NetBIOS is an IPv4 type and no FQDNs it is. Next, it is a IPv4 mapping. Okay, NetBIOS name to IPv4. NetBIOS name to IPv4, no FQDN type. It means the computer name is, for example, PC1. Okay, the computer NetBIOS is nothing but a PC1. Okay, next domain name is domain1.com. Okay. So domain NetBIOS is domain1 only. Okay, domain1 only. So that is the thing. Okay, so it's usually it is maps name to IPv4 kind of stuff in the NetBIOS. Usually NetBIOS will take care of name to IP resolutions, but not a FQDN type. DNS is name to IP address. Okay, actually name means here it is FQDNs to IPv4 and IPv6. Okay, IP address. When I said IP address means DNS supports IPv4 and IPv6. Both it will support. Okay. So what is this FQDN? Fully qualified domain name. So it is a host name and a full domain name which will come up. But NetBIOS is a very simple name to IP address part only, but still NetBIOS is just a computer name or a domain name type only. Okay, and one more service of name resolution service is called a WINS service. Is used NetBIOS WINS service, Windows Internet Naming Service. Okay, WINS service, WIN server like this. So NetBIOS name to IPv4 only. It is like it use NetBIOS type only. It is there. No IPv6, no FQDN support is not there. Okay. So here it is, guys. You may get confused. What is this? DNS is a server, supports FQDN and IPv4 and IPv6. WINS is a server, is also naming server. WINS is also a naming server. Both are naming servers. Support NetBIOS naming and IPv4 only. Not support IPv6. Okay, it is a NetBIOS naming and like this. Next, LLMNR. So we know the naming part is NetBIOS naming part. So it is involved in a IPv4 only. Similarly, LLMNR. This is IPv6 NetBIOS type. Means name to IP address. NetBIOS computer name to IP address, that is IPv4 address. LLMNR is name to IPv6 address. Okay, so these are the few small points. You can check it. NetBIOS only support 25 characters. NetBIOS support 25 naming characters. FQDN support 255 character length. Total 255 character length it will support. Okay. So Normally we are using NetBIOS because we are in the IPv4 network. So guys, what is DNS? Maps name to IP address, and actually it is maps FQDN to IP address. Structure is like domain name and IPv4. PC3 host 4S. 4S means IPv6. For example, I put some sample IPv6 address. Actually, it will show us like a 0:0:0 4 completed. Total 8 should be there, right? So then :0 like this, no, like this. This is 4. This is 3, and it means another 0. So that meaning is that one. So if I enter like that, so automatically it changes to that one. I will enter like this only, so we can see. So what is the FQDN of PC2? You didn't tell me. Okay, now. Yes, I am going with another one. So PC4 is actually by my web server. So I have a web server. I put a web server name only, and a host record means it's a computer. Server is nothing but a computer, right? It is a host only. Server is also a host. It is a web server. Its IP address is okay. But what is the FQDN of this one? Guys, at least tell me FQDN of this server. So you want to access that web server, how to access? Yes, you have to speak, otherwise I can't complete. So in your browser, you put a, what happening? In browser, you put a web1.contoso.com. The client is putting web1.contoso.com. I don't want like that. I want my client put a www.contoso.com. My client should put a IP address, sorry, should a URL like a www.contoso.com. www.contoso.com. Then you have to create CNAME, alias name for that one. It's like a web1.contoso.com. Meaning is it is the FQDN. It will show us here. It is www.contoso.com. Meaning is it is web1.contoso.com. Again, what is a web1.contoso.com? Is 192.168.0.18. Look at here, guys. This is my client PC. Okay, this is the PC1. Okay, in my client, I'm asking my DNS server. Okay, my DNS server. Hello DNS server. I want an IP address of PC1.contoso.com IP address. So it will search first where is contoso.com. First it will search where is contoso.com, under that one PC1, and find the IP address and give the IP address to me. So then I can able to communicate PC1.com. Okay, next. This is my web server. Name of the web server is web1.com. I am the client and I open in my browser www.contoso.com website. Contoso.com website. Request go to DNS server. In the DNS server, verify where is first contoso.com. Under contoso.com, where is www. record. It is pointed to web1.contoso.com and web1.contoso.com IP address. Then finally it return the IP address of web1.contoso.com, so I can able to communicate. Guys, understand or not?
Yeah, sir, got it, sir.
Got it? Okay. Okay. So similarly, I have a mail server. My mail server name is mail1. Okay. The host name is A. And IP address is 192.168.0.225. So the FQDN is mail1.contoso.com. Okay. And what is this? For example, the guy is want to access means I want to tell it is a mail server because of mail service is available. So I put a MX record and it is belongs to mail1.contoso.com. Okay, so like this is the mail server and this is the mail server record, MX record. There one more record is there, no? That is a SRV and PTR records. So SRV records are different, so I have to explain separately. Currently, I am not able to. Okay. I will go for a reverse lookup zone directly. SRV records are a service location records. What happened? Right. So my mistake. Reverse lookup zone. What is a reverse lookup zone? Is IP address to FQDN. Okay. IP address to FQDN. So what is this? The zone name. The zone name is like this. Your network name. Reverse lookup zone in a reverse order. Okay. Your network 0.168.192. In hyphen ARP ADDR.ARPA. Okay, in hyphen ADDR.ARPA. This is the zone name. Now it is like this. Again, SOA, some SOA 1 or 2 kind of stuff it will show. Okay. NS records are there. So then what is the NS record IP address or the name of the server, it will be there. So I am not writing anything here also. I'm not writing anything. I will show you that directly. Now 192.168.0.11. It is my IP address. PTR pointer record towards this FQDN. Same thing. 192.168.0.12 PTR PC2.contoso.com. PC3 won't come here. Why? Because of it is IPv6. Not only that, PTR records in a reverse lookup zone. Just remember, in a forward lookup zone, it is always a domain. It is always a domain. It is not about what IP address are there. For example, you go to PC4 host A and I given some IP address PC4.contoso.com. Whatever it is, important is whether it is PC4 belongs to this domain or not. It's not about a IP address, but in reverse lookup zone, it's all about IP addresses only. So if you want this record, it will be record in a separate record like a 16.172 dot compulsory network portion only in -ADDR.ARPA. Again, here it is 172.16.0.111 PTR PC4.contoso. Okay, guys, this is forward lookup zone and reverse lookup zone. Forward lookup zone maps name to IP address. Reverse lookup zone IP to name. So we'll implement and test it. So how it is works, we can able to understand. Okay, already existing zone is there, like you can use it or you can able to create a new zone also. Again, so forward lookup zone, I'm creating a new zone. Next, it's a primary zone, secondary zone, stub zone. What is a primary zone, secondary zone, stub zone? Okay, it is easy to remember DNS zones. Okay, so look at this primary zone and secondary zone. Look at here, guys. Primary zone is a main zone, means you have a two DNS servers. So this is a DNS server 1, DNS server 2. Here you create a primary zone and you can create a secondary zone here. If you create a primary zone, you can create a secondary zone here. Okay, so it means one server having a primary zone, then you can create a secondary zone here. What is the advantage of that one is if primary zone failed, no problem. In secondary zone, you have a data that is failover. What it is? So primary zone is located in one server. Okay, and the secondary zone will be located in another server. You can put it. Next, primary zone is read and write zone. Secondary zone is a read-only zone, means you cannot alter any data. Only we can able to sync the data from primary to secondary. Only we can able to sync the data from primary to secondary. Stub zones. Stub zones are not actually zones. It is store only NS records, start of authority. Okay, only glue host records only there. Only three zones are there: primary zone, secondary zone, stub zone. Primary zone, read and write, it means it contains all type of records. Secondary zones also having all type of records, but you can't able to add or modify the delete or modify the records in the secondary zone. Stub zones is like a secondary zone only, but it contains only NS records, SOA, and glue host records purpose only. The last one is Active Directory Integrated Zone. Active Directory Integrated Zone. The zones are we can able to, if you check it, your DNS records stores in Active Directory database. Guys, anybody will tell Active Directory database name? You remember? ntds.dit. So your DNS data stores in your Active Directory database. Okay, so this is about your primary zone, secondary zone, and a stop zone. My system is become very slow. I don't know why. So again, I'm writing here. It is read and write copy, read only copy, and it stores only NS, SOA, and glue host record. So DNS. My body is also shaking. DNS records or data stores in Active Directory database ntds.dit. Okay, so this is about your. Okay, I'm creating a new zone, but don't want to store in the Active Directory. Or you can create data. What happened? When we are in a tension, so it will give you big attention kind of stuff. See, we want to complete. So what happening, guys? Am I disconnected or connected?
Yes, sir.
So only last easy part. So remaining are small things only. It's not loading now. Entire that's an entire VMware file, not only a server file. Okay. Okay. DNS lookup. Now, this is the one command to show. It will show is your name server. It means DNS server. Okay. And IP address of it. We'll see. DNS look up. So look up. Super. So like this, it is showing my DNS server. Very small data. It is not showing properly. And exit. Again, I go to CMD because my CMD is better. DNS look up. It is trying to find my DNS server, but bad thing is I have another adapter is there now. So I have a adapter from there. It is trying to get it. Okay. So like that. So we have a command in a Linux. Aim command is dig command. In Windows, NS lookup command. It's a dig command. Okay, so again, we need a server is running. the server. I am trying to put it in the server. NS lookup. In generally, it shows some colon kind of stuff. Yeah, it is showing same kind of stuff. Default server address is showing. Even sometimes it address is also not shows properly because of IPv6 enabled. No problem. So we'll see again the NS lookup thing. We'll get output this time, next time. Okay, remember we didn't get a proper output, so we'll get it. So once we are done, reverse lookup zone configured. Currently I'm configuring primary zone in a forward lookup zone, primary zone. Otherwise I will do it again. Already one zone is there, guys. In DNS, multiple domain zones we can able to create it. Okay, so forward lookup zone, primary zone, active directory, I unchecked it, so I don't want to store in the active directory. So I'm creating countersort.com. I can create anything, no problem. Okay, so you can just put everything like this, finish. Okay, only this and name is important. See, this is SOA is a 1 and NS is wins S1. So my main server NS. Okay, right. Next, here it is. I'm going to create a things. You can do it in a domain1.com also, no problem. So host A record I'm creating. The first host A record is PC1. See, when I type PC1, it is showing FQDN, fully qualified domain name. I am putting an IP address is 192.168.0. 16. 0 dot something like 311. Okay, something just I'm added. Okay, so I added an account, so then you can click done. So see, it is PC1. If you double click, you can see host name is PC1 FQDN PC1.contessor.com. This is my IP address. Okay, I'm creating another one. Guys, my server IP is 172 series. That's why I'm giving 172 series, 172.16 only I'm giving. Otherwise I can depends upon my network LGO, otherwise it is giving more headache. Okay, next PC3 I want to give 200 to anything colon A, add host. So done. Again you can see host A 4S means IPv6 host, IPv6 host, and you can drag like this. You can see like this. It is a full name. It is showing like this. Okay. Next, I'm creating. I have a server like for example web server, and I'm giving 172.16.0.80. Okay, added. Now this is my web server. Now I'm creating alias, new alias, CNAME. I'm creating new alias, CNAME, www, CNAME, www.contessor.com, and browse like this, forward, contessor.com, web1. Select it. Okay. So you got it, www, alias record, and web1.com. Okay. Next, again host record, I put a mail one, and the IP address is 172.16.0.25 for example. Okay, I use 125 for that one. Okay, done. Location done. Okay, so I created a host record, but I'm going to create mail exchange server record. Okay, mail exchange record. So mail exchange record is mail name, like a you can give mail or a mail one, anything. and try to find it. Where is your server? Mail 1. Okay, so priority it is, that's it, not a big deal. So you can see mail exchange records. Guys, if you see start of authority still showing 1, just refresh it. Just refresh it. Then it is become 8. If I add a record, it become 9. If I delete a record, it become 10. If I modify the record, it become 11. Like that. It means always one number increment. Always one number increment. For example, if this is 80, right? I'm changing 80 to 180. I'm modifying record, apply. Then just refresh. Now it is become 9. Okay, if I delete the record and refresh, it become 10. Okay, like that. So that is SOA, start of authority. There are big stories are there, but guys understand how to create a record and all.
Yeah, sir.
Okay, now we'll test the records. Look at here. Ping PC1.contest.com. What happened? First, my DNS server request go to my DNS server. In my DNS server, it is asking where is a contest.com. Where is contest.com? Okay, in the contest.com, it is searching where is a PC1, and it will return the IP address. See, I'm getting IP address. Of course, you can't communicate. Why? Because that post is not there. Okay. Okay, it is not working. Why? Because of the IP address something issue is there. So there is why I am also disabled the IP address kind of stuff not working. I want to communicate ping www.contest.com. Contest.com www. But what is the output it is getting? Tell me. Is it giving an IP address of www.com or a web1.com? The first query, go to where is contest.com. In that one, www record. www is alias record of web1.contest.com. web1.contest.com IP address. It is I am getting. Okay. Same thing here. In a morning, I tried for a something like a. No, this is the new one or a old one. Yeah, here it is. Techno.microsoft.com, but I got a different name. Means it is a alias record. So this is for a public. This is maybe original. Okay, that is an example of that one. Guys, understand how DNS works, how to check the DNS records here. Forward lookup zone, name to IP address. Okay, we'll finish. Okay, reverse lookup zone. Then I will complete this reverse lookup zone. I'm creating new zone because no reverse lookup zone is not yet created. I'm creating a new zone. Next. Yeah, I will keep it primary zone and store zone in an active directory. That is also I'm using, no problem. You can select anything, first one or select second one, no problem. I'm selecting first one. IPv4 I'm using, so then IPv4 is network ID means only network portion you should give. Don't give zeros here. Don't give zeros here. Only network part only you should give. Network part means class B first two are network part. Class C first year network part. Class A only first one. Okay. So this is the name it will shows. You can choose either of that one, no problem. One or two, no problem. Finish it. So this is the your zone name. This is zone name 16.172.in-addr.ARPA. SY record showing 1, NS record is showing like this. Okay. Now I created some records here in a domain1.com is there, in domain2.com is also there. So go to each record, click update associated PTR record. It means from your zone data, from your records will be updated to PTR. Guys, sometimes if you open, the check mark is already there. You have to uncheck it, apply, check it, apply, OK. Okay. And also you can go to the domains. In generally, this is see already check mark is there. Okay. When you create a new kind of stuff, obviously when you create a record, when you are creating a record, there is an option called update associated PTR record. Okay. Okay, I'm updating everything, but it won't work. See, it's throwing an error because that associated reverse lookup zone is not created. Okay, this is not working. Okay, for example, if I create a host like a PC4, okay, and I'm creating 192.168.0. Something like this. Okay, add host. It will throw an error. The associated pointer record is not there. It means it cannot update the associated pointer record because reverse lookup zone for 192.168.0.0 network is not created. Okay, it will throw a warning, but record will be created. This is a 192. This is like this. Okay, now just go to refresh this one. See this, all the records are came. IP to FQDNs. Okay, and some are domain1.com, some are contesto.com. But this reverse lookup zone only think about their network and FQDNs only. But it is not mind about your which domain you are belongs to it. It is only minding about is the record is belongs to their network or other. So that is a part of reverse lookup zone. Guys, got it? Understand reverse lookup zone? So last point I want to tell, that is SRV records. What is meaning of SRV records? This is SRV records, service location records. If you see in domain1.com, directly you won't see any SRV records. You can see SRV records here under this one only. What is the meaning of SRV records? They are like this. See, I got a Kerberos authentication. Now it will check it who is providing the service, who is providing Kerberos service, win.s1.domain1.com. It means any request like a LDAP request, Kerberos request, or global catalog request. This is a global catalog port number. It is 3268. Okay, this is Kerberos port number. This is a LDAP port number. Okay, any service request come up, so this SR records will tell who is providing the service, who is providing Kerberos service, who is providing LDAP service, who is providing global catalog services. Okay, who is your global catalog, who is your primary domain controller, how many domain controllers are available, who is your nearest domain controller, by given by SRV records, which is under underscore MSDCS, underscore MSDCS. Okay. Forward lookup zone. You can see like this. Contesto.com, under that one something DC, GC, Okay, PDC, like that, so many are there. You can go to anything, DC, TCP, there you can find KVR, kerberos, service, location. If you open this record, you can find who is providing the services, service location. Survey records. Okay, service location records. MSDCS, GC, TCP, SRV records. If you open service record, you can see host offering this service. Means who is your Kerberos server? Who is your Kerberos server? Okay, look at that one. So this is about your DNS records. The last one is again NS lookup. You see domain1.com. Domain1.com. I'm trying in a there. So 1 second, I will have to show you in my server also, right? Server or a client I have to show, but it's okay, no problem. NS lookup. So win c1.domain1.com, and this is the my DNS server IP address. This is my DNS server name. Okay, this is my DNS server FQDN. This is my DNS server name. That is a NS lookup. Why I'm getting now? Why I'm not getting earlier? Why I'm getting now? Why I'm not getting earlier? Because of reverse lookup zone is not done. Okay. So first of all, you have to set up the reverse lookup zone. Make sure that IPv6 is disabled is a better option to that. Guys, completed. Why it is not exiting? Small exit. That is a NS lookup test. There are a lot of things are there, reverse thing, but it is, I think it is enough for now. Guys, no one is speaking. Enough, not enough, understand, not understand. So everybody compulsory attend afternoon session. Anybody having any doubts, please tell me.